Headline, 96% of workers are looking for a new job in 2023. 40% of job seekers said they're looking because they need and want a higher income. They're citing inflation. Now, when you've got 96% of people are looking for a new job, that's right up there with the height of the Great Resignation, which happened, let's call it third, fourth quarter of 2020, all through 2021, all through 2022. This is a staggering number. Not surprising to me, because most of these people are looking at, hey, I want to get mine while I can get mine. Recession is coming. Everybody keeps telling me recession is coming. I see a lot of my friends and family members, the Great Resignation, they were moving. Best way to get a good bump is to take a new job. And the data proves this. Job seekers or switchers have seen 7.7% wage growth as of November of 2022, the latest numbers, according to Glassdoor. Workers who stayed in their jobs have seen a 5.5% bump. So those numbers are not that far apart, but it's the psychology which is far apart. And let me tell you what I mean. When you look at real salary numbers, net income, in a difference between 7.7% versus 5.5%, it's peanuts. It's nothing. But when it comes to how I feel about myself, what I tell other people, that's a big gap. All right, so that's what's going on. And if these numbers are true, 96%, then a lot of you are listening and watching me, and you're actively looking. So I want to make sure you do this the right way. Let's start with an old phrase my dad used to say to me all the time when I was a kid and I wanted to quit something. He'd go, Kenny, remember, winners never quit, quitters never win. Great little phrase. It's a wonderful turn of phrase. Beautiful. Completely false. I mean, it's got some truth to it, but it's not an absolute statement. And the reason I point that little phrase out is to kind of get with some of you and go, winners do quit. But winners quit the right way. And I've got a 4-step rubric that I've taught on this show before. I'm not going to teach it all today, but there are 4 questions I must consider when I'm thinking about quitting a job. Quitting a marriage. Uh-oh. All right, I'm going to give you the 4. I'm only going to teach on 1, because when you had 96% of people thinking about quitting their jobs and 40% are doing it because of pay, that's a warning sign. Now, the 4 questions, just so you know, and we've taught on this before on the show, and I'm going to keep teaching on this. In fact, I'm getting ready to write on this. Like, what's the ultimate way to know if you should quit? Well, you got to answer 4 questions. Why am I quitting? When should I quit? Where should I quit? Excuse me, I got those flipped. I don't teach from notes very often. It's all up here, so sometimes my old brain betrays me. Why am I quitting? Where am I quitting to? When am I quitting, and how am I quitting? So those are the 4 questions that anybody can ask and answer, and that's when, if you have the discipline and maturity to roll through all 4 questions. So why am I quitting? Let's get the answers out. Where am I quitting? When? And then how? Now, we've got a great tool called the Should I Quit My Job quiz. Can we put a link to that up on the screen for those of you that are listening to the program? This is a free resource. It takes about, I want to say 7-8 minutes. So we've tested it. It's a super quick, and it's going to give you 4 results. You're either in the right role, but in the wrong place. In other words, you're doing work that is absolutely on purpose for you. You really enjoy the work itself, but the environment sucks, or it's just not right for a variety of reasons. So that's right role, wrong place. Or you're in the wrong role, right place. So you love the work, you love the place you're working in. It's a great environment, good culture, but you're not on the right seat of the bus. It's just not clicking for you. It's not what you enjoy. Or you're in the wrong role, in the wrong place. Wah, wah, wah. I mean, this just isn't right. You're not on the right seat of the bus, and there's no alignment with the values of the organization or just a sucky culture. And then the final one is right role, right place. But it begs the question, if you're taking my Should I Quit My Job quiz and you score right role, right place, and you're taking the quiz, you need to slow your roll. You're getting a little too antsy. You need to pay your dues. Maybe you're the problem. You're immature. You got the wrong perspective. You're not grateful. So you can take the Should I Quit My Job quiz. It's free at kencoleman.com. You're going to get one of those 4 results. This is a great way for you to get even more perspective, but get some clarity. There are 4 reasons why people quit their jobs. One is they don't see meaning and purpose in their work, or I could say it this way, you're not connected to the work. It's just a job. It's just a way to get a check. They're disconnected to the values, mission. There's no connection between what the company does and what you want to do with your life. There's no meaning or purpose. Another reason is a toxic environment. Listen, you could be absolutely doing what you were put on this planet to do, but if you're doing it in an unhealthy culture, around unhealthy people, or with a really crappy leader, let me tell you something, it will suck the soul out of your body very quickly. You could be with a leader who's just not a good leader. Not toxic on this one, just not a good leader. They don't see potential in you, or if they do, they're not telling you. They don't communicate well. You don't have a relationship with them other than just they're the boss. And another reason is there's a lid on you, or there's no ladder of opportunity. You feel like you've reached your potential at this organization. You can't do any more. Let me tell you something. A human being just naturally feels that. We feel it before we see it. We just go, I don't think there's an opportunity for me to grow. So, are those 4 reasons, are they showing up in your head and heart when you're going, I'm looking for a job? Because if you're just looking for a paycheck, here's what I can tell you. The numbers are crazy about millions of people who are now experiencing what they're calling the great regret. We had the great resignation. Now we have the great regret. Why? You chased a bigger paycheck, and somebody lured you over here because they were desperate to get talent. You took their job because it was more money and it was a better title. And so that made you feel good. And it seemed like a really good decision. What kind of a moron is going to turn down more money and a better title, Ken? Well, they're not a moron. Because if you're a part of the great regret and now they got a new classification, they call them boomerang workers who want to come back to the job they were because they were like, it was way better over here. You spend a minimum of 40 hours a week at your job. That is a huge chunk of your life. Outside of sleeping, you do more of that, and arguably you do more work than you do sleeping. And it doesn't take long for you to see how vital being on the right, in the right seat, on the right seat of the bus, how important that is to your life until you leave it and you go somewhere else and it sucks. So you need to be looking at, why do I want to quit? Am I quitting to something better for my life, or am I quitting to something that just, I think, might make me feel better? Whoa. I'm here to help. Take the Should I Quit My Job quiz. Let's start there. KenColeman.com.